So I finally made it back to my place and got to thinking about it. And remember, let's see here. There's the fabricating, there's the gaslighting, the fabricating. Remember the situation I was talking about with the, she tried accusing me of swinging a hammer at her head? That she wants to keep doing to me. The whole hammer thing. So, in that explanation there, we went from having for most part, having a conversation about the fact and all that over the fact that I kept telling her that there's nothing that she can do to actually hurt me. That if anybody should be afraid of anybody and shouldn't trust anybody, it was me with her, because she had a habit of consistently calling the police and trying to throw my ass in jail. She did it 3 times to me, and I proved my innocence every time. There's a reason why I got to choose what I dealt with in the first place, because she kept lying to people. And I was man enough to face my actual bullshit. And it had nothing to do with knocking people out and beating them up or anything. Anybody see any pictures of that? They got to see pictures of a hole in the wall. In that conversation, she kept sitting there trying to instigate it up, going, no, you're gonna do this to me. You're gonna do that to me. I'm afraid of you. You're gonna hurt me. You're gonna do that. And I kept telling her, there's not a fucking thing you can do to get me to actually do harm to you. And so she kept escalating it, calling bullshit and all this stuff. And that's why I ended up grabbing, because I had my cane right there, and I took it and I hit the fucking wall. I didn't swing it at her or anything, which I'm going to show you a still shot of it, and you'll even have my little dog there in the picture too. That'll give you also a perspective of height a bit. And I even sat down and did a little selfie thing showing. Because what I was trying to get across to her that day is, it doesn't matter how pissed off you get me. It doesn't matter how irate you might be able to get me. There's not a fucking thing you can do to get me to do harm to you. It's actually why I hit the wall. I was like, what is it going to take for you to understand that? I'm trying to show you this shit. So I threw the fucking cane. What'd she do? This is exactly what she did. I'll show you. After she got up from sitting on the bed. And I'll have the still shots in this too. So, sorry for the room. There's the hammer hole. She's sitting over here. And what I mean by over here, she was just sitting just to the right. Might as well say just to the right of the Friday the 13th box. I know it's ghetto in here. I'm sorry. But she's in the middle of the bed. I'm going to show you from perspective. Is that your head? The way I dealt with that situation, I should have just fucking walked away before that. Instead of allowing her to even push it that far. And yes, I was at that point, it was like, what is it going to take to get you to understand this? Because I'm getting tired of always being accused of being your ex-husband. Watching her, right after that happened, she got up like nothing happened. I told her, I was like, there's nothing you can fucking do. She said, get up. She takes a picture of it like this, and then she comes over here. takes a picture of the closet because I threw the cane over here. What she does, she does it like this. I watched her. Then she turns around and takes a picture of the cane that was right on the floor where it bounced. At that time, this is where I was standing. Right here at the door, and I saw her do it. And I turned around and looked at her, and I watched her do this, and she sits down like it's just fine, and I turn around and I was like, what are you trying to do, fabricate shit? That's exactly what she did. There's not a fucking thing she could do to get me to actually do harm to her. The one time she got me in a moment to where I broke down and ended up fucking slapping her, which I fucking regretted immediately, and turned my fucking ass in immediately. Like I said, there's a reason why when it came down to it, I got to choose my punishment. She kept throwing me in jail for shit I actually didn't do. And I had proof of everything. And when even the officers... his information, what he had to say about it, said the same exact shit. There's nothing that showed that she was being assaulted in any way like that, the way she kept accusing me. I was still wrong for what I did. Immediately answered for what I did. Immediately have been getting counseling and therapy ever since. And as soon as I start getting better, and I'm starting to get shit together, and I end up getting a proper diagnosis, I'm starting to get on the proper meds, she's sitting in there gaslighting like she likes to do. No, I could have allowed it to escalate after that, but I didn't. I stopped and I turned around, after throwing the cane, I turned and looked at her. I was like, don't you get it? There's not a fucking thing you can do to get me to fucking hurt you. And watching her do what she did, taking the pictures and everything, that's when I just walked out of the room. I was pretty pissed with her about that. It was like her little fucking fake little scream, like it was like I was trying to hurt her. It sounded like she was trying for a role of Halloween, try for Jamie Lee Curtis's spot. I love that woman too fucking much that no matter how bad of an argument or fight we might get into, there's not a fucking thing that would get me to actually fucking do harm to her. Not a fucking thing. She wants to try and talk about other occasions. She likes to try and square up to people, and then when she squares up to you, she wants you to react. Your best bet is just turn around and walk away. She's like that much taller than me. She's like 5'6". I'm like 5'3". And I'm not going to go beyond that. Because I do have a little respect for her. On that aspect, whether she believes or not. As much as I've been pissed with her too. This is what I mean when people are fabricating shit to try and destroy somebody's image, let alone to try and cover up the guilt they have because they've been cheating on their other half. We were together long enough that if in Oregon we had the common law marriage, we would be married by common law. And she committed infidelity, betrayal of a relationship when all that was ever asked of her was to prioritize the relationship. And one of the things I had wanted her to at least do was to at least take part in doing some of the things around here with me so that we could try and rebuild that bond again. But no, she was too busy, for her friends. She had no energy here. She'd always sleep. She was too tired, had headaches, would take her pills and all this stuff. But then when she got to go see her friends, she was all super energetic and all that. I'm going to Bray's house. No, you're not. And if you are, your friend's helping you cheat on me. Yes, I'm angry. I'm hurt. My emotions are fucking everywhere. But I don't appreciate when people are lying. Because when people are going to start lying about me, I'm going to start telling the truth about them. And I'm just going to fucking air it right in public. Whether everybody gets to see it or not, people are still seeing it. Only narcissistic people would do such dirty shit and then try to act like they're innocent and they're a victim. Play off to everybody else like they're not doing anything yet. They've been fucking around now for at least... the last 5-6 months. At least. It's been going on for a while. And this, to me, at its core, it's all about needing that approval from mom and from friends and all that shit. And being ashamed of herself that she's with somebody who is disabled and is on disability. But in the end, I'm not going out blowing my money on an apartment and doing all that shit. I am reinvesting the money in a nicer home, a better home, and something that I can actually work with, that I had hoped that they would take part in, because their experience in a job would work anywhere in any other state. But the kind of person that she's showing to be, I would hate to see her working any job like that. Being that fucking vicious. How do you treat somebody at home behind closed doors like that for the last at least 4 years, even though you've demonized the shit out of them behind their back for the last decade, and then go and get a job helping people who are in the same shoes? Some of them are worse off, some of them are about the same when it comes to being autistic and disabled. I used to have a lot more level head on me a long time ago when we first got together. I was, even after I was healing up after my wife left and everything, she helped me a lot with that. Yeah, that was great. She helped build me up a bit, but then as soon as my body was falling apart, it was immediate. Let's see how much we can drain him and break him down so that I can get out of this and feel innocent. If I can get him to actually abuse me, then maybe I can get out of this and not feel bad about leaving him because he's disabled. And she could never succeed. We got in a lot of verbal fights and arguments at different times there. It's because she likes to gaslight. And anytime I've ever tried to communicate, it would never go through. I've showed that even in text messages here and there, where I try to communicate the issues I'm having with, and she's like, "Oh, it's an emergency. It's about the cat. Oh, it's something else." She changes the subject, or she'll dismiss it, or here she'll stonewall. Here she would stonewall it, or tell me to go fuck myself, or like at the fridge, she would sit here and be like, "Go fuck yourself. I wish I had left you in the hospital." That's the shit I would deal with. But I'm wrong for wanting to have a relationship with that person. And when they found out that I sold the house and I wasn't going to help them move, and I couldn't take all the chickens that are outside with me to, where I'm moving to, she wants to tell me I'm being selfish and was only thinking of myself. Yet she was the one who was cheating on me for the last several months, lying to my fucking face and stealing from me and my family. And she can go, well, some people go, well, how is she stealing? She wasn't taking, because she was literally exploiting me to keep a roof over her head while she's using her money for whatever the fuck she wants, including cheating. I got my clothes falling apart while she's buying brand new clothes to go on dates. But I'm thinking of myself.